Hey everyone. This next thought comes again from the General Conference addresses in April 2021. Um, this is Elder Gary E. Stevenson's talk, Hearts Knit Together. I had quite a few thoughts from this one, and I'm not going to just make a video about each one. They're kind of small, but all of them are pretty similar, pretty tied together. First, he gives that bit about the bunny, the experiment with the bunnies, and I thought about how a soul is a spirit in a body, and the spirit affects the body, and the body affects the spirit. Um, so, if that's true, then this demonstrates that just showing love and kindness is a way to positively affect another living creature's spirit and thus positively affect their body. Um, Later, I was also thinking about um, mental illness, and I kind of wrote to myself that as technology and convenience have continued to separate us, scientists have linked this to mental illness. Is it possible that this experiment also links this technology-induced isolation with physical illness? If we're getting less love and kindness and connection with other human beings, and that was apparently what helped the bunnies to stay so healthy in this experiment. Is it possible that this lack of connection to other people is somehow also having a negative impact on our bodies as well as our minds? I don't know. Um, God knows. Seems like there might be some truth to that to me. Um, the next little thought is when he is talking about how there was this little kid who saw a bunch of other kids who were bullying one kid in their class. He thought it seemed fun, he joined in, and after a few days of this, he saw that the kid was really upset by it. And the kid admitted that he tried to not show that the bullying was affecting him, but in reality, he had a really hard time not crying every night. And um, so the main kid in the story then decides to be his friend instead. He tries to convince the bullies to stop being so mean, and one of them, fortunately, listened, but for the most part, everyone else was still mean. And um, at the end, the last line of the story said, "I chose the right by helping a friend," and I highlighted the phrase "I chose," and um, I just thought maybe you can't change the world, but you can change yourselves. There's that little phrase, be the change that you want to see in the world, or something like that. Um, and I think that's really true. It's really hard for one people to positively affect 7 billion other people, but you can change yourself. Just do your best to spread as much good as you can. Um, and in the end, as it was talking about, um, as he was talking about loving your enemy, he shared, we do all we can to overcome the adversity that is placed in our path. We strive to endure to the end, all the time praying that the hand of the Lord will change our circumstances. We offer thanksgiving for those he places in our path to assist us. So I kind of learned just keep going, don't give up, pray for change, but deal with now instead of looking for the end. If you spend all your time focusing on how things are going to get better after God saves you, then you're just going to be miserable where you are now and want to give up. If you look at where you are now and deal with just one more day, not knowing maybe how many more days there are left in this whatever trial you might be going through, just deal with one more day and um, keep praying and have a spirit of gratitude, and you might even find reasons to be happy despite your trials, whatever you might be going through. And I'm sure there are people who might see this who are going through some pretty hard stuff. Uh, but I know that with God, it's possible to be happy no matter what's going on. Um, and then can't find his direct quote that caused me to write this, but I wrote to myself that everything that happens to you is an opportunity to get closer to God and exaltation. If you take it right, or as God said to Joseph Smith, if you bear it well, then that is exactly what will happen. You get closer to exaltation. You can sit there and whine and complain about how horrible everything is and just be upset all the time, and you won't really get anywhere. Or you can take your trials as an opportunity to get better. And one thing that I think is a mistake is people might try to have that mindset, but they sit there and think, what am I supposed to learn from this? And that's not always entirely clear. It's great to have lessons from your trials, but um, the word affliction, as is used quite a lot in the Old Testament, is better translated as humbled. And humility isn't just thinking that you're worthless, because you're definitely not worthless. It's being able to rely on the Lord. There might be a lot of specific lessons that we're intended to learn from our trials, but in the end, just do what God says and everything will be okay. That's a huge oversimplification, I know, but there it is. Just choose the right, as we're told in primary, and at some point it'll get better, and that's humility right there, and maybe that's just what we're supposed to learn, is to just keep choosing the right for ourselves, and at some point whatever trial you might be going through will end someday. So that is my takeaway from his talk, and I know some of that isn't even exactly on the subject of his talk, but that's kind of what I got, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So thank you for listening.